are you today? So welcome back to another round of Let's See with Lexie. So today, well, first of all, I would like to point out I realized, I'm still not happy with that little beginning buffer thing I'm doing. I still want to sort it out so it's a better experience for you guys, hopefully. But on my end, the utility of it is functioning better for me. So I'm going to keep playing with that to work on that. Um, Fucking yeah. So today we're going to be talking about Caze and Raylee again, but we are just going to check them out. Um, a couple of videos. In one video, the Caze brand company, I'm assuming it's Cinderra. There's Cindera, Cynderra. There's a possibility that it's another employee, such as the manager or something, but I'm assuming it's Cindera. So Kaze brand page messaged Bossladyc101. And so we're going to check out those messages and her video and commentary about that because I thought that was fucking wild that she did that. And then after that, and that video is linked in the description if you just want to see it without my commentary. And also, Raylee Rickovina, I haven't seen this video. And I only watched the beginning of Boss Lady's video because I was like, oh my god, we got to see this. I got to, do this. I was planning to go full back into Deaf Awareness Month, but I was like, ooh, this is crazy to me. Like, okay, I gotta work on that ableist language, but I think you know what I mean, right? It's like wild. Um, so, and then Rayleigh Rickovina made a post that said, the caption says, not letting the bullshit get to me during my wedding. And I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it's her doing like last time where you think she's gonna do a story time, telling more about what happened, but it's related to the wedding, but it wasn't really about giving you any more details in a way. I don't know if it's gonna be another one like that, or if we're gonna actually get to find out something new. But I'm not about to, not watch. So I figure we could look together, and that way we can analyze for ourselves. Do we think, in real time, you can see me process? Do I think she is using this time for using the engagement that is coming based on what we've been discussing with the trend reports? Is she utilizing the engagement that is here at this time through this content for her SEO? That's what I'm thinking about. Or, like, that's what I'm wondering. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but who knows? Who knows? I'm not her. I'm not saying that's fact. I'm just asking based on what I know could be a marketing strategy. Um, and so, yeah, we're going to look at that. And then after that, I figured we could just go back to Google Trend reporting one more time just to discuss a bit about using Google Trends for not only keyword research, but also trend forecasting. And I thought we could discuss how that's related to predicting not only like where they are in the news cycle, like how I'm using this to predict where I think they are in the news cycle, but also how businesses could apply Google Trends for their own content production. And I'll also try to remember to talk about what I would, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and say it while it's on my mind so I don't forget, actually. So some pros and cons of the using Google Trends for content production, like so if you're only using Google Trends to cover what's trending now instead of focusing what you're actually passionate about, in my opinion, your content quality uh, will suffer if you're not. So if you're only focused on trying to cover something just because it's trending, but if you use this along with to get visibility for what you're passionate about, then I think that is a better way to use it because you won't be just making content for the sake of content. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with these tools is they see something's trending and so then they're going to cover it, and then Yeah, like some of what they cover, that in my opinion, like sometimes a lot of the stuff that we've looked at was great. Like I'm so glad we saw that. But then there are certain things we saw. I'm just like, did this content really need to be produced, or was the person just making content with the trending keywords because that's what's getting engagement in the moment in algorithms? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's another factor to consider. And then before we go, not only will I check to see if there's any more posts from Caze or Raylee, but also I was curious as if the same attorneys were on her previous cases. So we will just take a look at those legal cases one more time before we close out as well. Um, just got an email. Now I'm realizing I need to do something as soon as I get off of this live stream for my client, but I just got this email just now, so I will wait until after to go deal with that. So, and then I will do that first thing. Okie dokie. So, alrighty, I am gonna roll my intro and then let's actually do this bitch. Hi, my name is Lexie, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. So, first up, we've got this video posted by Bossladyc101. I've really been enjoying her perspective on this. I don't think I mentioned how much I love the way she did her PR analysis videos on this situation, the way she did the overlay with her own narrative as if she was it felt almost like I was listening to a friend bitch to me about something. If that's appropriate to say or not, I hope that's okay to say. That's not that I'm saying like she was, because I say I bitch, but I don't know if that's appropriate. You know what I mean? To label a tone in that way for me, but um, so I don't, but I really enjoyed it because she balanced that personal feeling in the way she was discussing it with also presenting the business issues as well and why specific points were PR crisis management issues and things like that. And so, yeah, I really liked her take on all of this. So the fact that she got a message from Caze is just fucking wow to me. So before we start, the message that's showing the screenshot, that she's showing the screenshot for, I don't know the date, but at 6:28 p.m. on a day, um, the Caze brand page on Instagram messaged her saying, I would love to speak with you, heart emoji, listening to your video right now. It's a few things I would love to clarify and speak about to give a little more intel on what actually happened. Ooh. Uh, I'm just gonna like this. Um, and so, yeah, let's watch from here.
I wanted to provide about the Caze brand, and it will be my absolute last time speaking on this. I wanted to sit with this before speaking on it and realize that awareness is key in this situation. Before I get into what you see on your screen, I want to first bring light to how this fits into my intentions here on TikTok and my chosen career field. My intention in providing you the content I have is to not only advocate for others, but showing you how to avoid your brand being perceived as these type of people. And I'm talking about the people who exploit others for money and have inappropriate business practices. Also,
I absolutely love that because I've always struggled with value alignment in business. I'm feeling like, how the fuck do you make a living if there's no such thing as ethical consumerism under capitalism and things like that? And so where she's out here just at least fucking trying to make shit better, I really value that.
show you how to avoid missteps like this in your brand if you're up and coming, give you solutions to mistakes, and show you how to better use your discernment around who you should and should not have in your circle or do business with as a consumer and influencer. It is also the same passion when I have been asked that has driven me into managing.
I love this the points that she is hitting on also. I really do think anybody, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the follow button. I highly recommend others go follow her. This video and her profile from it are linked in the description of my video. Go to tiktok.com/at Bossladyc101.
Management, which has allowed me to help others use their discernment in navigating the business aspects of the industry, whether you're with me for management or not. With that said, this message that you're viewing affirms what I brought up as a red flag within the Casze brand in my brand analysis pertaining to how she handles boundaries. If this is the
I didn't know she knew what boundaries were, but wow. I think it's also interesting to consider um I'm saying wow about the messages that Kaze sent because I just kind of think it is a little hilarious in the context. I don't know if I should think it's funny or not, but I do. Um, but I'm also very interested to hear her take on the boundary concept also because I think that's something I'm still, we're all learning here. So I'm very interested.
the first time you are coming across my video and you're like, what the heck, and wondering what I'm talking about, head over to my page, to my pinned post, and you will know what I am speaking about. Thursday afternoon, I posted my brand analysis review to my new image page on Instagram, and I used mentions of who was mentioned in the video. Within an hour of my posting, I received this message on my business page.
And we did a full reaction to her brand analysis. It's incredible, in my opinion, like chef's kiss.
New image from Casze stating that they would love to talk to me, and one would immediately think that, oh wow, okay, she saw what Corinne said and may want some guidance. However, no.
Honestly, that's probably definitely what she should have been asking for.
Casze not only is trying to desperately control the narrative behind closed doors, but further states that she has intel she can share that Raylee left out. Simultaneously, she sends me a message on my personal page with a bunch of hearts masking their aggression and expresses the same, that they would love to speak with me.
So the message on this page, I think it shows where Kaze was tagged in stories on Instagram. And then at 6:30 p.m., it says, "Hello, would love to speak with you." Heart emojis. I would like to provide, it's the same thing, some more intel in the commentary. And then she missed a video call at 6:31 p.m. Oh shit.
My discernment at this point knows this is disingenuous.
Now I see what the boundary issue is. Now I see it. Because one message is like whatever, even if you don't want to hear from them, it's like, yeah, fuck you. But you know what I mean? But this, you know what I mean? This is mhm. And I get, every now and then, like, for example, she did a social media blast, and in this social media blast, as you see where Kaze was tagged, like in the story and everything, those I don't really perceive. I think there's a difference between doing a social media blast on a public figure or a creator versus messaging them in their DMs, or at least messaging them in their DMs sporadically on different accounts. I think there's a difference between messaging them in their DMs and one account trying for the purpose of like trying to resolve something when it gets to a conflict, right? But then if that's not happening, people blast each other on social media. People get tagged. That's what happens for all content creators, right? That's what we do. At the end of the day, it's long-term promotion for everybody involved. So, but yeah, no, this now I see it. Now I see it. I'm like, ooh.
Because if you fully listened to my video, you would know that it was not really in your favor. And you would approach me with more of a, hey, that's not true, versus Raylee left something out, which further confirms that what I said held merit. I also did not respond because they already stated that their legal counsel allegedly told her not.
Okay, speaking of the legal counsel thing, right? Okay, I'm back on that. I'm sorry. So we've been questioning in my notes here two things regarding the legal counsel, right? One, same attorneys on their previous cases, and two, Rayleigh didn't get. Oh no, wait, that's a different one. Different comment. Sorry. Um, how did they have an attorney if they need one? You know what I'm saying? So the GoFundMe says they need an attorney. That's what part of what the GoFundMe charges are for. But then she's saying she has an attorney. So, you know what I'm saying? So, is the attorney working for her without pay right now, but she still needs money to pay the attorney? Is that what's happening? So, there's been questions on that. Like, was she able to get an attorney? Does she actually have an attorney representing her right now? Was she actually able to pay for an attorney or get one to represent her in the meantime until she can pay her, like pay behind? It's not the same as contingency because contingency is if you pay an attorney, but only if you win. But then there's like a word for it, but I can't fucking remember it because I'm like blanking right now. But there's like a word for when you hire an attorney, but you don't, but you're on a payment plan. Isn't there a word for that? Shit, I feel slow. But fuck, payment plan. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? She could do be on that, but like, so the comment about on air from one person, it says, "Is there an update on your side?" And Caze had replied, "Per legal counsel, I won't be responding. People already made their decision, and others are attempting to simply bring me down. But unfortunately, it won't prosper. I am moving forward and over it." I don't think she's over it, in my opinion. Otherwise, she wouldn't be messaging people. Okay. Um, so yeah. Anyway, fucking but on that note, but I was looking into who are the attorneys for the defendants from the syndicate court group um or whatever, as well as for everything. Ah shit, we ain't paying for this right now. Fucking I'm curious as if to if Kaze is representing herself or not on according to what I'm seeing available to me publicly. Um Particularly with these default judgments. Where I believe Kaze may not have had an attorney represent her in these New York cases. Potentially, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't properly know how to interpret these documents. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at what's in front of me and guessing if I'm right, if I'm interpreting that correctly. So I could be like absolutely fucking wrong as shit right now. Is my captioner not working? Why are you like this? Hold up. I don't know at what point it stopped fucking showing. It fucking can suck my dick. Alright. So anyway, I was just saying, I don't know if she had an attorney on either of these cases. Maybe I'm wrong. I see that the plaintiffs had an attorneys that were legally documented on both cases, but it doesn't legally document an attorney for the defendant. And in my opinion, from what I know, wouldn't it document the attorneys for the defendants as well? In Trellis, so perhaps I'm wrong on that because again, I'm not an attorney. I don't know much about the law besides from what I've studied in relation to music industry studies and marketing and business law. But yeah, that is something that I question. Like, does she actually have attorneys? Who knows? Who knows? Can she afford attorneys? She's getting the default judgments on the financial issues. I feel like somebody who could afford an attorney wouldn't need to default on that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't say anything for certain. What I'm saying is not a fact. It's purely speculation, in my opinion. And It's funny. The deaf person is committing hearsay at the moment. Yeah.
Not to speak on this. However, you are in my inbox needing to speak with me about missing information. To add further insult to injury, they proceed to video chat and call me to get a hold of me after I did not confirm a conversation with them. Now, let me.
To be honest, I fucking hate that. You know what else I hate? When people show up at my house and we didn't have a plan. And so, I'll be like up in my kitchen in my fucking underwear, people knocking on my door, so then I'm like ducking down, hoping he didn't fucking see me. Like, the shit, man. Um, I don't know. Fuck. So, like, yeah, this shit would bother the fuck out of me. I'm like, if I'm not ready, unless you're a client, clients ignore this statement. I am on here for you whenever you need me. When you're in, you can switch to work mode real fast. But when people, yeah, with this type of bullshit from strangers, nah, I gotta focus on my clients. If I don't know you, no, I know I got my phone number everywhere, but I don't answer that fucking shit for strangers, to be honest. You can fucking text me and I might text you back, but I don't usually answer phone calls for strangers unless I think there's a chance. Like, so, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna tell you some of my family shit, whatever. If I have there's particular things happening with my family, and so if I think you might be a family member, then because they can be contacting me from random numbers. So if I think there's a possibility it could be one of that, then I might answer the phone call because I'll be like, it's just a family member. But besides that, I typically don't answer the phone call for strangers. Just letting y'all know that, like, fuck it. And I barely answer emails. I got thousands of unread emails. Fuck that.
Let me tell you why I have a problem with this. I am a spectator in the big scheme of things to this whole entire situation that gave a professional opinion. And to see the same type of behaviors she showed, meaning Casze, Sandera, Raylee, in crossing boundaries that she would have with a complete stranger, just makes what I said, again, hold more merit. I am not owed an explanation to missing information, Sandera, nor will I change anything in favor of the Casze brand, who is.
Right. I think it's funny that because you can't really claim there's unbiased reporting in this situation. In my opinion, when we've kind of recovered and reviewed, in my opinion, how the engagement has initially been tipped in the favor of Kaze, and so I feel like the push that was so strong for Rayleigh's side to get out there in as a response wouldn't have happened if Kaze didn't try to um, dominate the narrative on it in the way that she did, while being in a situation in which she has been harming others through her business practices. And if all of her other clients were happy and she wasn't known as a scammer, and it was just this one situation, or a situation, even she could probably get away with one or two situations a year if she has, like, say you make 100 dresses a year and you have one or two people that are not happy. That's only, what I mean, that's still like a 98% satisfaction rate, right? So you can make a few people not happy a year when you're good in business, like, you know what I mean, like. Or think about if anyone's ever been a server. You know how you can be work at the best place in the fucking city, give them the most amazing food ever. You can know you were on top of your fucking game. You know you did every fucking thing right, and those little bitches will still be motherfucking assholes. Wait, hold up, shit. I don't want to say that fucking word anymore. God damn it, fuck. Um, I had just learned what that word means. I actually, and you stop saying I just learned that because I think it's been a minute now, but I think I learned that around, when did I learn that? Somewhere between November and last year, and summer this year, but I forgot when I learned that that was harmful, but I'm trying not to do that anymore. I think I learned that around May or so. And I think, because, okay, anyway. But yeah, I agree. Like, in some situations, you would think, like, when reporting, you should give different sides, a fair chance. But then I've also already been debating, like, at what point do you not do that? Because, giving someone a chance to tell their story when they're being harmful is just spreading the harm. So sometimes that discernment, you know what I'm saying? Um, like, we're human. You know what I mean? And so, even though there are strategies we can have for trying to do better with our discernment, I also think we have to keep in mind that as human beings, we're not always going to know what really happened. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm rambling too much. Let's keep going.
Owed an explanation or further intel, Kaze, is the millions of people you chose to manipulate into sympathizing with you and your unethical business practices. I do not and will not go back and forth in any type of social media antics. It's just not the type of person I have ever been. However, I will go as far as to say at this point, she has the traits of being extremely confrontational, borderline dangerous, and has been blocked on all platforms. Yeah. Listen to me and listen to me well, folks. Kaze is not new to this, and she has been getting away with impressing upon her predatory practices. Yes,
I also just want to back up there's like a pattern and evidence, regarding the employee story with what came out there. I feel like that should kind of back up her statement with the dangerous potential aspect there, in my opinion, just to kind of like say, she's not just saying this flippantly, in my opinion.
I did say that for years on young consumers without much light being shed or any repercussions they must face, which is why she feels confident in continuing this inappropriate behavior of aggression. I shed light into the cracks of her business, and you know what they say, a hit dog will holler. I also firmly stand in calling out anyone that is in support of her, still, celebrities included, adjacent celebrities included in that as well. You influencers are included. And for you all to sit and watch this all go down and still stand behind the Caze brand in any way literally genuinely shows the type of character you all have.
I mean, I can agree when it comes to things like human rights and workers' rights. If you keep supporting someone who's not doing their work to change or improve their business practices, then yeah, that is just going to perpetuate the harmful business practices. So I do agree with where she's going here, in my opinion.
When things like this get brought to light. There fortunately will not be a conversation because I know it will not be productive, and I don't conduct myself in that manner. And as I stated before, who you need to be speaking to is your audience, a lawyer, a crisis management team, even. But that's
Okay, yeah, like, do you guys think she has a lawyer? Because, I don't know if she does.
all I have to say on this.
All right, let's see if there what comments are. So, this came out about 2 hours ago, and I was like, I saw it brand new. So one person has said thank you for posting this at the time. Let's see if there's any more comments now. Um, okay, got a few more comments. So one person said, I'm betting that Sandera started this company on a whim and has no previous business experience with a luxury brand or education. A luxury brand should provide white glove treatment, always. Someone else said the amount of videos she made of only the dress and saying, This is the dress a client stole from me, instead of showing her face and telling us what happened, was the biggest red flag for me. That was three, I think. Someone else, well, three on her personal page, but then I think she business page, but then I think she reposted those on personal too. So. And then someone said, "Damn, you're standing 10 toes down, but you're absolutely right." And so yeah. Oh, hmm. Oh, someone said totally unrelated, but I found my dress because of this video. Alanuka, wow. Oh, cool. Alrighty. So moving on. Raylee Riccobino posted another video where it says, not letting the bullshit get to me during my wedding. So, as we've been discussing, I don't know if she's just like using this engagement around the hype of the wedding controversy to get views on this situation while it's trending, or if she's about to tell us more here. But either way, let's find out together.
I tell you how I compartmentalized while this whole dress thing was going on. I already did my face, contour, blush, and brows. And I do want to touch on the brows. I've been using this brow freeze gel by Anastasia.
You know, I am very supportive of people who like to wear makeup. I think that's cool. I do think it's interesting that a lot of people, though, put a lot more effort into wearing makeup to cover up things than they will to take care of themselves. Um, I don't know if I'm being problematic with that one though, but that is something that I feel like I noticed. Like, I know people who will spend hours on makeup every day but won't floss their teeth. And I'm not saying she's like that, but that's just like what I just thought of. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
But it sticks those guys down, and then I have no time to actually shape them. We'll come back to that when I'll do a video on me doing them, and somebody can tell me what the heck. Somebody asked me, how do you compartmentalize through your wedding, especially when you know like this is all going down? And honestly, one thing I will tell you is I didn't realize that I was getting defamed online while I was getting married.
I will say if the courts haven't ruled on that yet. So if there's a possibility that if the courts rule on that, then she may not have technically gotten defamed. You know what I'm saying? Um, because of possibilities of arguing stealing regarding the lack of payment, full payment, and regarding the part where if she knew that the designer was coming, if Raylee knew that Caze was coming and then blocked her after that was already set up, that won't go well for Raylee in court, in my opinion, potentially. But if it didn't go that way, and Caze is just trying to present it that way, then that's gonna go even worse for Caze in court. You know what I'm saying? So I've been saying I can't make a decision on that because I don't know what happened. I'm just seeing a discrepancy, and I'm seeing how it could go either way depending on where it went. You know what I mean? We weren't there. Um, and so, yeah, fucking, but I'm just saying there's a possibility, that regardless of if you think, I feel like regardless of if you agree with how everything else went down, that part, but then because there were so many lies told, that because I counted them in my presentation, there might still be the defamation case though because of the amount of the criteria is met and whether or not, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I think there could be a defamation case, but there's still like an element that they have to argue, but it's hard to prove it. But they might be able to argue for proving it based on words that Sandera has used, but it could go either way. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
I didn't know that. But I did know that the video had already gotten posted because it was the night before my wedding. So I did see it, and I made all my socials private and everything. The easiest way for me to compartmentalize through something like this is thinking about having a box. It's like
I wonder if this is how she compartmentalizes human rights issues, standing up at like whenever she represents herself as a Republican. Is this how she compartmentalizes humanity when it comes to human rights issues regarding Republican platforms? I guess this is the answer to that. Is this how she becomes heartless regarding human rights issues too?
a little wooden box in my head, and you open it, and you put the bullshit in there.
Whoopsie, did not mean to hit the brake buffer. But anyway, so um I do think it's interesting that she's calling it bullshit though, because regardless of if she liked the dress or not, she did, in my opinion, not fully pay for something that and then not give it back when you know. So there, I don't know. I think there is just like for me, it's just kind of the lack of accountability on her part because I get that things went wrong from Casze side. I'm not defending Casze. I'm against Casze too. But for me, it's like just because Casze did wrong thing, they're both. This is what I don't like about either of them. Actually, this is what I don't like about Casze and Raylee. This is what Casze and Raylee have in common. They neither of them take accountability for their own fucked up shit because they both act like the wrong things that the other person did excuses the wrong things they did. I think it's a lesson in lack of accountability from both of them as well regarding everything because they're both trying to act like neither of them did nothing wrong in this whole situation. And in my opinion, they both did wrong things in this situation. In my opinion, the only people who are not wrong in this situation are the employees and Diana and the real Jinsu or the Don. They didn't do nothing wrong in my opinion. But yeah, with her, there are things that's going to get used against her in court legally, in my opinion.
You close it, and I lock it, and then I just set it down. I said, this is not my problem right now. What am I going to do right now about this? Absolutely nothing. This is not my deal right now. And then I walk away from it. And I try to be really in the moment. I set my phone down. I say I'm going to be here right now, and I'm not going to be dealing with any of this other bull. And once you're able to decide that you're not going to deal with it anymore and that it is not your problem at this point, that's when you're able to walk away and truly enjoy where you're at without any of that. My only thing is you have to go back to the box. You cannot leave the box because it will overflow and then you will have a breakdown most likely. You have to go back to the box and truly deal with whatever is happening in your life.
Okay, but that's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like now she's being acting like, in my opinion, kind of weaponizing the pity people have for her to act like this is some traumatic event, in my opinion, or something, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, that shows the amount of privilege you have to compare this to compartmentalization, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I just don't perceive having people attack you online. And I haven't had people attack me. She's probably had about 300 times more people go after her than I've had me. But I have had a similar thing like this happen to me before because, you know, I told a police officer the only good thing about him getting being a police officer is he might get shot. And a bunch of police people came after me. Thousands of them were coming to my website. They left me bad reviews. And then one time, I told this woman that, well, we were already arguing about the context of if you're a door dasher, should you be fucking with people's orders? Because that's what she was bragging about doing as a door dasher. And then within that argument, we also started arguing because I told her that her trying to do tarot the way she was doing as a white woman was cultural appropriation of Romani culture. Um, and so she and like 4 or 5 of her friends were like leaving me bad reviews too, you know. And so I've got bad reviews on my Facebook page too, or whatever, from people I've had political arguments with, and they've left me Google reviews and shit, you know. And I don't give a fuck because fuck them. In my opinion, it just keeps people like them away from me, and I'm okay with that. So but in my opinion, I understand like how it feels when you've got like a certain level of awareness or engagement on you with the stress that can come with it, with a certain level of negativity or hatred. But at the same time, I don't really perceive this as relatable or comparable to any amount of trauma I've ever been through. And I just kind of feel like, you know, because here's my point. Let's look at the concept of so the compartmentalization is a form of psychological defense mechanism in which thoughts and feelings that seem to conflict are separated or isolated from each other in the mind. Those with post-traumatic stress disorder may use compartmentalization to separate positive and negative self aspects. So, if she has PTSD from other shit. And she's talking about how this is how she's processing this now. Then what she's saying is valid, and where I'm going is wrong, right? Because you can have PTSD, CPTSD, and then that be how you process life going forward. But if that is not the case for her, and she's comparing this wedding drama to that, I kind of do take issue to it. Perhaps I'm minimizing what occurred, but I just don't perceive it as that, in my opinion. Um, so that's just where I'm at on it as well. But yeah, let's keep going to her reaction.
Like, you have to sit down and cry through it, scream through it if you need to, or go to therapy. Take it with you to therapy and be like, this is what's going on. But you have to come back to it.
You know, another thing I find, particularly white people, will weaponize Western therapy and Western therapy terms to not be accountable for their shit as well.
It's beautiful to be able to put it aside. My mom even commented on that. She was like, you've done a really good job at just like putting this away and it not affecting you through your wedding day. And obviously it was hard. Obviously it was still a pain in the butt, but you can't let it ruin your life. No matter what it is, whether it's a boy or a wedding dress 2 days before your wedding, or something happening with your car, or anything really. I mean, like,
The fact that she says you can't let it ruin your life, and then says boy, wedding dress, car, that's what shows me like perhaps she isn't talking about it or making content off of it. But that's where I'm like, you can't, that comparing those things to trauma just kind of bothers me, in my opinion. I don't know.
and also I think another thing that's helped me is when I go to work as a hairstylist, I have to leave my shit at the door. If they want to talk about it, we'll chit chat about it. But
Okay, talking about, that's another thing that makes me feel like perhaps she's misusing the term compartmentalization, because that, okay, yeah, like going to work and providing customer service isn't, oh my god, dude. But again, if she does have CPTSD and PTSD, and compartmentalizing everything is how she processes life now, I'm dead fucking wrong for this statement. And I'm probably ableist. But if she is not experiencing that and she's just comparing vapid shit to actual trauma, then that's fucked up, in my opinion.
most of the time my shit gets left at the door, and it's not impacting me because I'm here to do your hair and talk about your stuff and whatever you want to gossip about. I'm here for that. It's not my deal. But I think that has made it really a lot easier for me to be like, I'm not dealing with this right now, and I'm going to set it aside. I will come back to it, but it's not happening right now because I have other things that have to happen. That's the only way I can think about it, though, is like a box. Other than that, there's probably different ways to do it and different ways to think about it, but it's all mental. It's a mental game, always, right? Mind over.
The fact that she's calling all of this a mental game, in my opinion, is part of what leads me to also think perhaps she is using this engagement and strategizing with the engagement that is occurring. Because how are you going to call this transaction issue a mental game? That kind of corroborates, in my opinion, where Caze is that like a, okay, hold on. So, in my opinion, and now I can't tell where when Caze said they're playing games with me, was Caze seeing the games they were playing and just saying that from her perspective, or was this comment in reference to Caze saying that? You know what I'm saying? Because this comment could be in reference. Caze was saying they're playing games, so that could have been a reference to Caze saying that. And again, I don't like either of them. You know what I'm saying? I both think they did things wrong in the business transaction itself. I think Caze is doing a lot wrong as a business person, highly unethical. And I think Raylee, I question their human rights based on the political content they've put out when I looked into their shit. So I don't like either of them. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
All right, let's check out the comments. So, in some ways, we did. This is very similar to what I was saying. To where this is another thing. This is the second video that she's discussing the wedding. She's alluding to the wedding drama without actually giving you more information. So this is where I think she's clickbaiting the wedding drama to perpetuate engagement on her page to push her SEO is what I think is happening. And Kaze's been doing that as well, but that was already obvious to us. This is me where I kind of feel like she kind of, you could use the words she said with the mind game, in my opinion, to back up why I think she might be doing this. Not only, on top of looking at the trend reporting as we've been doing, on top of, reflecting on SEO and forecasting. So yeah, some of the comments, they're saying I have this thing called anxiety, and unfortunately has the key to that box and opens it at random times throughout the day. Someone else said the dress that you found was perfection. Someone said, preach sis, you gotta handle what you can handle, and most of the BS will still be there. I def have a needs to do things immediately, and all this shit. And so someone said, so people are just, complimenting her and blah blah blah. Alrighty, so we will check to see if they posted anything new before we leave. And so now we're going to get into some marketing talk. So pulling back up the trend report, I just wanted to talk about forecasting. Real quick, the interest over time regarding search terms for Caze and Raylee, and just kind of, we've already discussed previously where I think they are in the news cycle based on the outrage cycle. And then from there, we discussed how I think they're using the news cycle and the outrage cycle to perpetuate their SEO. And those two videos are linked in the description of this video. But basically, what I meant through all of that was there are different news periods of time for each type of news cycle. With this particular one, I'm going to factor it in as an outrage cycle. I believe for each new event that occurs with this situation, we can expect about 2 weeks of engagement after, but the initial engagement time has already passed. We have already surpassed the peak of the engagement that I think we can expect from this situation, unless some crazy shit goes down in court. But I do perceive further peaks of interest coming from these search terms once the court case documents become public, if that happens, if they do. And I also perceive if either of them push out new videos with more evidence about what occurred, I perceive these search terms spiking again. I think right now they've got about 2 weeks left to coast off of some of this initial engagement and interest. So over the last couple of days, some new video and evidence has been coming out regarding them. And screenshots and particular statements have been said. So just to kind of recap, around August 24th, August 25th, is when Caze got those initial videos out that got millions and millions of views. And then it wasn't until about the Monday later that Rayleigh's story came out. And then in the following days, both sides published their quote unquote evidence. And that was around this time period here. And that's where you can see the interest over time between Caze and Rayleigh shift and cross in terms of the demand there. And so from here, what I perceive is we're going to see some spikes in this interest over time. And this is for the past 30 days, by the way. And I believe we're going to see some spikes for the interest over time for these keywords if or when any court documents become available, or if uh, any videos come out with actual fucking evidence. I believe we're going to see some spikes again. But other than that, this baby is going to die right on out, in my opinion. Um, we're going to end up, interest is going to definitely decline over time. People get fatigued over topics. There's going to be some of us neuro-vibing people who are going to kind of want to do some deep dives into the investigation of understanding what happened. But in my opinion, overall interest is going to sharply keep declining. And it's definitely, the main surge of interest has already peaked. So, in terms of considering how businesses again can use this for themselves, I discussed in the intro when I think a business should be using it. But I just also want to keep in mind that you can keep going through the trending now report. You can use different time periods: past 4 hours, 24 hours, 48, and 7 days. So if you want to do breaking news, you can go for past 4 hours. Hi, Softball for Life. How are you today? We have been discussing the whole Casze Raylee situation in relation to new updates that came out with some social media stuff. And then now we're talking just a little bit about, we talked a bit of, just a second ago, about where I perceive the public interest trending with them. And now we're just talking just two shakes of a lamb's tail about using Google Trends. So yeah, fucking, I'm good, chilling. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Softball for Life. Um, so yeah, how's your day going? Have you been following the Raylee Ricavina Caze situation? So you can see the search volume. You can see what keywords are trending. Like, you can see by location, by time period. You can go by active trends, and you can show general trends. And by active trends only, that's going to show you whether or not it's continuing to surge, or if it's a past trend. So you can use this report to look at both current and past trends. Dude, yes. I personally don't like either of them. I definitely see how Raylee Ricavina was totally wronged in this situation. There are things that I disagree with about how she handled her situation versus why, but I still, when it comes to did she get the dress she wants, I don't think she did, and I do, but yeah, I do think that the attorneys on both sides, though, will have legal arguments against each other. So I can see how that could go. I personally don't think I like either one of them for different reasons. But yeah, I definitely think that really should have gotten a better dress. I mean, she did get a better dress, but you know what I meant, from Caze. But yeah, fucking, I've been debating, whether or not I think Caze will make it in business, and I do think there's a strong chance they're not going to. There's a small chance they could slide through, because with the right strategy, there are ways for them to make it. But yeah, this could bring them down for good, in my opinion, potentially. And so with the trend report, you can use this when you're looking at these things if you want to make content that's relevant to when the trend started by search volume. This will just help you follow what could be getting you more engagement or traffic. And like I said at the beginning, you should never be following trends just to be on a trend. You should definitely be only using a trend if it aligns with what you're passionate about already. For me, I saw this come across my news feed, and it couldn't compute with why a business owner would fuck themselves over this way. And that's how I kind of became so obsessed with studying the all of what came out about this situation with Caze and Rayleigh. Um, but yeah, I know other people may have jumped on this because it was trending, And so, yeah, I feel like I need to process a bit more. But hopefully, maybe I'll do a different live stream further down the road about Google Trends. But for now, hopefully that could help you a little bit. Um, So moving on, Search Engine Watch has a little article about a comprehensive guide on using Google Trends for keyword research. And Google Trends, it's a good tool for digital marketers, and it's also good for anybody just curious to see where is content production gonna go, or what are current shit. Oh, dude, yes. I'm so glad that you think this makes sense. I appreciate you. Fucking for me, I think it just kind of explains, because regardless of the negative impacts that could be coming out of this for both Rayleigh and Caze, positive impacts could come out for both of them as well, because this is going to benefit both of their search engine optimization long term. The reason Caze could still fail though is because she's just now known for being unethical. You know what I'm saying? Um, Whether or not you think Rayleigh stole the dress or whatever, this isn't going to impact her to where she's known as being an unethical person on this one case. But this going viral got the word out about all of the unethical shit Kaze built her business off of. And unless she changes and can show that she's changing, it could really crumble her shit for good, in my opinion. Um, how do I learn all of this? Oh, I got my Bachelor of Science in Music Industry Studies and Business Administration. And I've been doing marketing for about 13 years. And so I have online classes on my website. I got 50 certifications in marketing and sales, and all of those are linked on my website. They're all free to get if you want to go get certified. Um, so, yeah, man. And my open source marketing class, I try to teach like everything I know about marketing that's ever helped me get anywhere. And that's also what I try to do in my live streams. Like if you ever got a question, I'm happy to answer. Um, and so with the understanding the volume, when you understand where things are peaking and you understand the news cycle, you'll be able to use the trend reports to uh, think about if something could come back up again and when to release content on things that have increased engagement, or if you see that something is rising and you can catch it right where it's beginning to rise and you know it's going to peak, that can be a really good time for you as well. um, and you can also help you identify seasonal trends. Now, they're also cautioning you here, don't jump onto trendy keyword bandwagons. Like, you should not be trying to, because if you just follow trends just to follow trends, sometimes a keyword will be trending, but they only trend once, and you're never going to get, it's just not going to help you long term. So there's a lot of pitfalls of chasing trends. So you have to also understand, like, well, if you're going to use trends and as a part of your strategy, make sure you're also paying attention with the interest over time. Look at it by 30 days, by 1 year, by 5 years, by 4 hours. Look at it not only short term, but long term. Will this short term interest benefit you in the long term? And if there's long term surges of interest for this, then it can be good. But if there's not, then it might not be helpful. Thank you, Softball for Life. I appreciate you. That means a lot to me because, yeah, and that's what they're saying here in number 4 with unicorn keywords, which is what I meant. Um, like once in a lifetime, kind of. So you want to stick to relevant topics that are going to help you in your niche and your business if you're using trends. And I just talk about what I'm fucking passionate about. And if it's trending, great. If not, I don't give a fuck. But another thing I'll do, though, if I'm struggling with coming up with like a name for something, I don't know what the fuck to call something, but I know what I want to talk about, then I'll go look to see if I can find a trending term related to what I want to cover and call it that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great way to use it as well. So you can also find related topics too, though, because if you don't know what the fuck to talk about, you can also use the trending keywords to go see what you're interested in that other people are interested in. So that way, when you talk about what you're interested in, you'll be more likely to find others who want to see that too, that are already looking for it. And so I think that's another thing. And you can, we didn't even cover the trend prediction feature, but we'll have to go over that. So you can use trend predictions as well. Um, because not only are you going to be able to see what people are looking for in this moment, but you're going to be able to decide what could be happening in the future based on how things have repeated in the past. And so, yeah, and when you combine the trends for topics with search engine optimization for keywords, then that's like even better. What is my next live going to be about? Well, so I have sporadic lives and then I have planned lives right now. So my next planned topic is about Deaf Awareness Month. It's September is Deaf Awareness Month. And so my next live stream is going to be about reading about deaf law. And I'm going to read from a deaf lawyer who wrote about the deaf history of deaf legal representation in court. And so we're going to talk about that in my next planned live stream. I might get to part of that tonight. And I think I'm going to do that one in 2 parts. And that's for Deaf Awareness Month. And then I might also do, I don't know when, but I'm sure coming up, I'll also probably be doing more content about Raylee and Caze, because fucking I'm fascinated. I still have something. I kind of want to look a bit more into a couple of things. I have some notes that I took. I may or may not do another live stream on them, but I'm not going to just keep doing live streams on them just to do it. Like, I'm not going to, if I don't feel like I have something more to talk about, then I'm not going to. But yeah, I might. And if anything pops up, like any new evidence comes out, or if court cases come out about them, I'll be covering that as well. At one point, I'm gonna have to stop covering the new videos they put out because at this point, I think they're just using this window of opportunity for engagement on their videos. But yeah, also with Google Trends, if you use long tail key phrases with Google Trends, like instead of searching shoes, if you're looking up like Nike shoes, or if you're looking up, high heels or satin pumps, um, you're going to be able to find things that have lower competition but higher conversion rate with qualified buyers for you, in my opinion. Bye, Softball for Life. Thank you for joining me tonight. So yeah, um, I'm gonna reflect on how I feel about identifying blind spots as a concept, but they're basically saying, even though there are keywords that we feel are important, sometimes they might be too generic or high volume to be worth ranking for. When it comes to SEO, I'll still go for it anyway, but I do think that's relevant for paid advertising. So yeah, so moving on from exploding topics, we've got a little blog here about trend forecasting in 2024, and they've got a step-by-step guide here. And here, trend forecasting, it just talks about the process that uses historical consumer trend data and current market trend data to help business estimate consumer demand. And so you can also use Google Trend in reflecting on consumer demand for offers as well. And so, yeah, it's important because it helps us, develop material, content, products that are actually going to grow with the future consumer demand. Um, there are different ways that you can forecast trends. So how you should do it is going to highly depend on your business, your industry, your niche, and your goals. But either way, there are some similarities, So you're going to be able to identify popular topics, You're going to want to validate that with data based on what you're trying to do. Uh, you want to think about long term and short term, as we've been discussing, um, as well as related topics, and then trends inside of trends or meta trends. So, for example, you could have a music festival trending, but inside of within that music festival trending, you could have the main stage trending, for example, or an artist trending, for example, right? um and so you can also dive deeper with more detailed trend analysis using things such as consumer reviews, sales data. Competitive intelligence data is when you're looking at your competitors, trend reports, and that's just general market trends, as well as interviews. And then there are different forecasting models you can use as well, from time to econometric. I can't even fucking speak. Judgmental and the Delphi. And I don't even know enough about this shit to really tell you about it. I just know it's out there. Because I only know about forecasting as it relates to marketing, not general data forecasting. So yeah, and they've also got some forecasting tips in here, such as, tracking trends regularly. I can't speak. Identifying the trends as well as individual topics, quality data to support your predictions, and tracking your hypothesis. When you track your hypothesis with your trends, when that helps you figure out, and get better by looking at which trends were you right about, which trends were you wrong about, and why. And then when you understand that, you get better at predicting trends. So yeah. And then we're not going to read all of this, but I also linked, a PDF in the description of this video regarding predicting, the present with Google Trends. And I'm just going to check out the conclusion for you here. But it does talk about the methodology with data and model, as well as examples from retail, automotive, home sales, and travel. So let's just go check out the conclusion real quick on page 18. Alrighty, where are you at? Okay, so the conclusion. It says, we have found that simple seasonal AR models and fixed effect models that include relevant Google Trends variables tend to outperform models that exclude these predictors. In some cases, the gain is only a few percent, but in others can be quite substantial, as with the 18% improvement in the predictions for motor vehicles and parts and a 12% improvement for new housing starts. One thing that we would like to investigate in future work is whether the Google Trends variables are helpful in predicting turning points in the data. Simple autoregressive models do remarkably well in extrapolating smooth trends. However, by their very nature, it is difficult for such models to describe cases where the direction changes. Perhaps Google Trends data can help in such cases. Google Trends data is available at a state level for several countries. We have also had success with forecasting various business metrics using state-level data. Currently, Google Trends data is computed by a sampling method and varies somewhat from day to day. This sampling error adds some additional noise to the data. As the product evolves, we expect to see new features and more accurate estimation of the trends query shares indices. All right, so, and I can't remember if it was my last live stream or the stream before, but I think it was my last live stream. We discussed how Google Trends calculates interest over time as well. And so I think this just kind of gives you some more background if you want to look into how Google does the modeling. This gives you more background into the research on that. It's linked in the description of this video, if you want to go check that out. So yeah, before we close out, let's just see if there's any new posts from Sindera or Raylee. It doesn't look like there's anything new. We covered this post already. I don't see anything new from Sindera here on her personal page. Let's see if there's anything new from Case's business page here. Doesn't look like there's anything new here. And let's check Raylee's videos here. We just watched this one. Oh, there's another new Raylee video. Hey, we're early. Let's watch it. Y'all ready?
I was just checking to see if I went viral. No? Okay.
Okay, so this is another thing that, in my opinion, could be backing up my claim, where I think that at this point she may just be using this increased interest over time for her name. She is utilizing that engagement to get some new views on her content at this time, in my opinion. So, yeah. One person is saying, I hope that Emily D. Baker picks up the lawsuit for all of this. I think that's funny. Emily D. Baker is a commenter is a commentary channel for legal commentary for those that don't know. So yeah, I thought that was a funny comment. So yeah. And here it says, me checking TikTok for the last week. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. So yeah. So in this situation, you can kind of see how they are just using the virality of the situation to continue promoting themselves at this point, in my opinion, potentially. So that's another reason where I go back to where I felt like she might have been comparing this to trauma in this video with the compartmentalization discussion. And then to go from that
I was just checking to see if I went viral. No? Okay.
to, when you try to act like something's traumatic, but you're just trying to see if you went viral about it, it's hard for me to feel like it really negatively impacted you that much. You're just using it for views, in my opinion. Because sometimes you need views for something to get awareness for it, because you need people to help you, right? But there's nothing the public can do here, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm weird for feeling weird about that, but I was feeling kind of weird about that. So, but that's just me. That's just me. Y'all feel how you feel. And so I'm gonna link that video in the description of this live stream in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail when I end this bitch. And I'll also link to the compartmentalization search engine result page too. So just to recap, today basically the biggest fucking thing that we talked about, in my opinion, was the message that Casze sent to Bossladyc101 at the beginning of this live stream. And if you, I see some people just joining in here late now, so if you missed that, if you don't watch anything else about this live stream, just go check that shit out, or see the video linked in the description of this video, because holy fuck, man. Yeah. Wow. That was just like, oh, fuck. That's a shit story. So go see that. And then we also looked at the new videos that Raylee put out today. We've also discussed whether or not this could possibly be used for engagement, and we considered that a little bit more today in relationship to Google Trends, and how we can use Google Trends to predict where people's interest is going, if that makes sense, in my opinion. So yeah, and just keep in mind, value alignment. Oh yeah, and during the Bossladyc101 coverage, I went over why I don't think that Casze has an attorney, based on how I couldn't find her having an attorney in her other legal cases against her. I think she may have represented herself. So I'm questioning if she even has an attorney, but that's just speculation. That's hearsay. I don't know shit about fuck. But that's just me wondering. It's just a question. Who knows? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we're here now. It's been a day. It's been a day. Thank you so much for joining me. If anything new comes out, you bet your ass I'm going to cover that fucking shit. Yeah, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for joining me today, and bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty, and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.